The subject of creation days has been one of the most discussed topics in Christendom. There are perhaps four schoolings in Christendom: young earth, old earth, theistic evolution, and intelligent design. While intelligent design doesn't take interest in this subject matter, the remaining three schools have much to say about the interpretation of the creation days. The young earth school, without doubt, firmly hold to literal interpretation and no compromise. Meanwhile, old earth and theistic evolution schools have varieties of diverse views on how one should look into these creation days. They either hold to literal days or figurative days. One of the most prevailing theory, known to be the gap theory, tends to explain away the days as literal days, while day-age theory works hard to explain away the days as ages. No matter what position an individual takes, the debate has been a long history in Christian timeline. The days of creation were not necessarily taken literal even before Darwin's rise. Young Earth proponents keep claiming that the compromise began after scientific exploration and intervention by atheism and paganism. Meanwhile, the careful research finds indeed the opposite result. The history of creation days, understood as metaphorical, is as long as the history of Christian church. It is uncertain how the original audience understood the days, but it is obviously certain that they didn't have same questions like we do today. The enigma of creation days doesn't end even today. Were the days 24 hours? Might be. It seems unlikely that Moses and Israelites would have imagined long ages in that pre-scientific era where ancient Near East culture didn't even have a view of spherical Earth. The narration comprised morning and evening phrases that tends to demonstrate the understanding of days to be very normal days. Meanwhile, others argue that Psalms 90, which is also believed to have been written by Moses, discusses evening-morning as poetic and metaphorical. While we could accept the nature of days as 24 hours, it doesn't seem to be hard for us to accept the usage of days as some sort of framework. The first 3 days and the later 3 days seem to have a striking correlation. They seem to have symmetricity, in which the first 3 days have places or kingdoms established, while the later 3 days have rulers or filling of creatures in the respective places being installed. The days could be literal and even used as metaphorical. The cosmic temple view also holds similar stance that the days were literal except for the fact that it wasn't about science, but merely temple inauguration. Other theories may be mature creation, in which the days are literal, but God established the world in such a way that it seemed to be very old. Some further, but unlikely suggestion includes revelatory days, which holds the days were real, but Moses was indeed given information in 6 real days. Hence, there are many ways we can even understand the days as literal days, except for the certainty how original audience perceived them. Could the creation days be longer period of time? The scholarly works exist for this possibility as well. The meaning of word yom is taken into consideration, the narration of some days that cannot occur in a single day, the absence of evening and morning phrase in the 7th day, the statement that for Lord 1 day is as 1,000 years, and scientific cases reinforce the possibility that the creation days could have been long ages. The day-age theory is one popularized theory that supports the days as long ages. The gap theory doesn't take days as long ages, but adds ages of period between 1 to 3 verses in the first chapter. The relative time theory is, however, a different approach, which explains away the creation days to be literal days from the reference point of the expansion of the universe, but long period of time from the reference point of the Earth. Other includes intermediate day-age theory, which just adds long ages between each days. Many of these theories are mere assumptions and argument from silence. Despite the probability that the days could be longer periods, it is difficult to establish this position from the scripture itself. The reputed scholars like Walton and Stanhope in this area also have argued for the likely case that the original audience had most likely read the passage as normal days. They put their thoughts forward by saying the ancient people didn't have our questions and the culture was not the same. Therefore, we cannot think of letting our modern mindset seek our modern queries into the ancient scripture. As Walton and Stanhope notes, both young and old earth proponents have been guilty of reading modern thoughts into the ancient scripture. So, did Moses and Israelites understand the creation days as long ages? The answer seems it is unlikely. Let me give you a quick reminder that this issue is again different from the issue of age of the earth. This might sound crazy, but it's true. The possibility that Moses and ancient Israelites understood the creation days as literal days doesn't conclude a young earth. It only concludes they had a different culture and questions far apart from our mindset. Were the days literal? It seems so. Does that make the earth or universe very young? Not necessarily. It's again a non-essential doctrine where we Christians can have differing views and yet realize it is our God who created the universe for His glory.